Hello, everyone. Today is May 11th, 2021, and we are here tonight for the regular meeting of the Coppell City Council. There is a quorum present, so I will call the meeting to order. And the time is 5:35, and we are going to recess the meeting at 5:35:20. We will be back at 7:30. Thank you. I know, there were so many people. So where's John? John, are you close?
There he comes.
Okay. For those of you online, I'm sorry we're running a little late. The time is 7:53, and we are moving into regular session. There is a quorum present, so we're going to call the meeting to order. Tonight we have Pastor Tom Palmer from First United Methodist Church to help us with our invocation. And then if you would please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our police honor guard will be presenting the colors. Thank you.
Council, members of the Coppell community, let us pray together. Gracious God, we thank you that we gather this night by your faithfulness. You've brought us through many, many months of very difficult times, and that you have given us grace in the midst of this. We thank you that we're a part of a community that comes together rather than comes apart in difficult times. And we thank you for the leadership of the past, the leadership of Mayor Hunt and Councilman Roden, and for what they have contributed to this city. And we thank you for the new leadership, that your spirit would be upon Mayor Mays and the new councilmen that are coming on board, Councilman Neville and others that are being prayed over and dedicated for the service in this community. We pray, oh God, that your grace and blessing would be upon all who serve in this city, for our city manager and those that work on the city staff, for the many volunteers, for those that serve and protect, for those that are first responders, and all those who work together to make this city what it is. We pray that we would grow in a sense of compassion, diversity, justice, and all those qualities that make a city great, that grow us to be the kinds of people and the kind of community you call us to be. And so this night we rededicate ourselves to your purposes, this night we offer this new leadership as we give thanks for those that are stepping down. And we pray that all would be done so that we might be a family community for all generations. And we pray this in the name of the one who embodies sacrificial love and overcoming love. In your name we pray. Amen.
Honor guard. Halt. Left. Face. Present. Arms. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. Heart.
Item 4 is swearing in the mayor and the council members for place 2, 4, and 6. And we have Judge Primrose here to administer the oath. And we will start with the mayor. So, Mr. Mays.
Okay, are you ready? An important time, an important day.
I was just remembering that you told me not to say, repeat your name when we do this. So let me focus on one thing at a time.
I told you that, like you didn't know. Okay. Okay, and I even have your name here, so they cheated for me. Okay, please raise your right hand. I, Wes Mays.
I, Wes Mays.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To faithfully execute.
To faithfully execute.
The duties of mayor.
The duties of mayor.
Of the city of Coppell.
Of the city of Coppell.
State of Texas.
State of Texas.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve.
Preserve.
Protect.
Protect.
And defend.
And defend.
The Constitution.
The Constitution.
And the laws of the United States.
And the laws of the United States.
And of this state.
And of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mayor. You want to get a picture? We got to get a picture. You want to get a picture?
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got a long... Oh. Now, this is for the other council members? Or
Yes.
for? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad I never saw her use this, so that's a good indication. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We've got 3 more council members to swear in, or 2, 3. I'm sorry, I'm losing count. The judge did tell me to make sure that I did not say repeat your name on the oath, so I appreciate her guidance and the wisdom that comes with that. So I think we're off to a good start tonight, and again, I really appreciate you guys being here, and let's honor the rest of the council. Thank you.
Okay, next, Brianna Hinosa-Smith. I didn't have to coach you. I knew you'd get it. Okay. If you'll please raise your right hand. I, Brianna Hinosa Smith,
I, Brianna Hinojosa Smith,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute the duties
to faithfully execute the duties
of City Council Place 2
of City Council Place 2
of the City of Coppell,
of the City of Coppell,
the State of
the
Texas,
State of Texas,
and will do to the best of my ability
and will do to the best of my abilities
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Good job.
I thought that was.
Okay, I'll keep it.
I don't have anything other than say thank you so much.
Kevin Nevels. You can bring who you want with you. Yeah. Come on.
You guys stand.
I'm not gonna lie, I want to share this with my family.
Oh my gosh.
We did not get any sympathy votes at the election with that, I promise.
Okay, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, this is a really big time. So please raise your right hand.
Ma'am.
I, Kevin Nevels,
I, Kevin Nevels,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute the duties
to faithfully execute the duties
of City Council Place 4
of City Council Place 4
of the City of Coppell,
of the City of Coppell,
State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Congratulations. You'll get this. You'll get it at the end.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who supported me during the election, to so many, my family here, my friends that I see out in the audience, to everyone that's watching at home. I just want to say thank you guys so much. This man right here, I've got big shoes to fill, and I'm excited about the taking those steps. But I just want to say thank you so much to Councilmember Roden for all you've done, and I will do my best to make sure that Place 4 stays safe and sound. Thank you, sir.
And the mayor told me not to forget, and we'll have your wife put that on for you.
Oh.
This is from Mayor Mays. So if you want to put it on there for him. I didn't forget. I'll take it. You up there?
It's very real now.
Who would you like up here? You go. Okay, could you please raise your right hand? I, B.G. Matthew,
I, B.G. Matthew,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to faithfully execute the duties
to faithfully execute the duties
of City Council Place 6
of City Council's Place 6
of the City of Coppell,
of the City of Coppell,
of the State of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and to the best of my abilities
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Does she want to come up here? Come, you can come up. Yes. You got someone taking pictures? Yes. Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I also want to echo Many of the council members and mayor already said thank you for all your support. It's been a great privilege serving the city of Coppell and its residents for the past 3 years. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to serve the next 3 years. I'll do my best to serve the citizens of Coppell from all background. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're on. Up means on, down means off. Thank you. As Councilmember Nevels told me on Saturday, he said, "Sir, you need to give us millennials a little chance to do the selfies." So I'm learning. All right, item number 5, consider a proclamation naming May 11th, 2021 as Karen Hunt Appreciation Day. Mayor, would you please come forward? Council, for your consideration. Whereas Karen Hunt has lived with her husband Larry in Coppell for 24 years and has 2 grown sons, Kyle and Bryce, both of whom are graduates of Coppell Independent School District. And whereas Karen has served the community as mayor for 9 years and council member for 4 years. And whereas during her time in Coppell, she represented the city while serving on numerous boards and committees, such as the Dallas Regional Mobility Coalition, the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport Board, the North Texas Commission, an active member of the Coppell Chamber of Commerce, and most recently as president of the board of directors for the Texas Municipal League. And whereas Mayor Hunt was instrumental in overseeing the growth of our community, which included the opening of 265 Parkway, the building of Life Safety Park, the renovation of the Cosby Library and Community Commons, the Andrew Brown redevelopment, and Coppell Arts Center. And whereas Mayor Hunt's guidance and selfless public service have clearly shaped the city of Coppell and helped to make it the thriving community it is today, now therefore I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the city of Coppell, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 11th as, I'm speechless, Karen Hunt Appreciation Day. In witness thereof, I set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Coppell to be affixed this 11th day of May 2021. We'll get to you in a minute. Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve a proclamation naming May 11th, 2021 as Karen Hunt Appreciation Day and authorizing the mayor to sign.
Thank you. Is there a second? Your first official act, Councilmember Nevels. Is there any discussion on this point?
Yeah, I'll make a few comments. I know I made some comments out there, but I just wanted to, again, on behalf of council and myself to say, and the mayor, to say thank you so much for all your service, for your time, your commitment, for just the role that you have played as mayor and council member, as friend and leader, and just for really working towards making sure that we were a cohesive council, to making sure that we always walked out as one, and just looking for consensus across the board. Like, you always have done a great job at that. So thank you. We truly appreciate you, and we will miss you, but we will celebrate every May 11th from now on.
Councilmember John.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, thanking you is a given, but I've always said that not behind, but beside every successful person, there's a man or a woman besides them. And I just want to take this moment to say that, everything that you've done, I know he's always there and to support and provided everything that you needed there. So congratulations to you again, and thank you. And also thanks to Larry for always being supportive, and we really appreciate it.
There is a motion. It's been seconded. All in favor say aye. Or, I'm sorry. Ashley, you're supposed to do this.
That's okay. Long, Hinojosa Smith, Neville's, John, Matthew, Hill in favor. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Would you like a minute?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And again, thank you all for being here. We do appreciate the support and all of the kind words that everybody has said. It's truly overwhelming. So thank you very, very much.
And just so you don't beat a quick retreat, remember you are invited to stay for the whole meeting tonight and watch the rest of the actions that are going on. Okay, council item number 6, consider a proclamation naming May 11, 2021 as Gary Roden Appreciation Day. Mr. Roden. Council, for your consideration. Whereas Gary Roden and his wife Lisa chose to raise their family in Coppell, all while serving the community as a council member for 13 years and a member of the Economic Development Committee for 14 years, and whereas Gary assisted in the city's transition from a sparsely developed suburban town to a much sought-after community of over 40,000 residents today, and whereas Gary played a significant factor in the economic growth of the city in the late 1990s and early 2000s, while serving as the vice chair of the Economic Development Committee until 2012, and whereas Gary served as the co-chair of the Coppell 2030 Steering Committee, providing leadership during a pivotal moment in Coppell's history, and whereas Gary was then elected to the Coppell City Council in 2012, and in that time served as representative for the Dallas Regional Mobility Coalition and as the liaison to the Coppell Senior Center, and whereas throughout his unselfish service, Gary has displayed exemplary leadership, character, ethics, and morals. For that, the city of Coppell is grateful for his dedication. Now, therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the city of Coppell, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, May 11, 2021, as Gary Roden Appreciation Day. Council, do I have a motion to approve? Councilmember
You're doing
Hinojosa
such
Smith.
a good job at looking in my direction, I'll just say. Thank you, Mayor. I'm just kidding. I move to approve a proclamation naming May 11th, 2021 as Gary Roden Appreciation Day and authorizing the mayor to sign.
Thank you, and I have a second from Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Is there any discussion?
I know Gary gave me that look. No, Gary, in all honesty, you will be missed. We'll have to celebrate you and the mayor and Karen Hunt, the former mayor, on May 11th again. But no, thank you to you and Lisa, because Councilmember June made a really good point. Right, it's a family affair. We spend a lot of time away from our family, and so thank you to you both for your time, your commitment, your service. And we'll see how Councilmember Neville does here, filling your shoes. So, thank you.
Councilmember John.
Hello. Thank you, Mayor. So it took this to finally see you eye to eye. No, as mentioned earlier, I do appreciate everything that you provided, the information, the knowledge, and I'm going to miss you sitting here and, giving me some information about some of the things that I missed in the past. So you will be greatly missed, and I know that everyone that's here understand the value that you brought to the City Council and City of Coppell as well. So thank you again for all that you've done, and again, goes same to what I said earlier, and please let Lisa know that everything you didn't do it alone. So thank you so much.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Long, Hinosa Smith, Nevels, John Matthew Hill in favor. Unopposed. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Gary, I said something earlier about seniority and the 43 days. Well, what I didn't realize was you sitting next to the mayor gave her the unprecedented opportunity to kick you under the table. So, Councilmember Nevels, just be ready. So, listen, I really do appreciate all your service, and we've had some really good conversations. We've had some really good tailgates, and I hope those occur again down in College Station. And the friendship that we've developed has been just immeasurable. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, you don't get to say.
I'll be quick. Thank all of y'all for being here. What y'all don't know is at many council meetings, we establish an over and under time as to when the meeting is going to be finished. And no money changes hand, but there's a bet. You bet over or under. And if you bet over and it's closed, then you've got to filibuster and talk until the time goes by. So I won't do that because y'all are going to be here late anyway. But thank all of y'all for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Item number 7 is a proclamation celebrating MetroCrest Services' 50th anniversary year. Can I have representatives from MetroCrest here? Oh, there's Tracy. You may bring the entire group, please. I didn't mean the whole audience. Council, for your consideration. Whereas MetroCrest Services provided individuals, families, and seniors with programs that lead to self-sufficiency that foster independence, and whereas MetroCrest Services is the only agency providing a comprehensive approach to social services in the MetroCrest area, addressing gaps in finances, employment, and in nutrition to help end poverty and decrease inequities, and whereas MetroCrest Services is celebrating 50 years of unwavering support to the most vulnerable of our community, serving clients over the past half-century, and 1,101 residents of Coppell in the year 2020 alone, and whereas MetroCrest Services connects our community in a network of support, enabling our businesses and citizens alike to help one another. Now, therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the City of Coppell, do urge citizens of the City of Coppell to celebrate MetroCrest Services. And be it resolved further that this city is committed to the continued support of MetroCrest Services. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of Coppell to be affixed this 11th day of May, 2021. Councilmember Bijou. Matthew, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the agenda item number 7, approval of proclamation celebrating MetroCrest Service, the 50th anniversary year, and authorizing the mayor to sign. I do have some comments as well. Is that okay if I say now?
Sure, go right ahead.
I want to thank the MetroCrest Service, the board of members, and the staff. You are doing a fabulous work for the entire city, 4 cities. We have Farmers Branch, Carrollton, Coppell, and Addison. I want to read some stats for the residents of Coppell, what they have provided to us for the last year in between the March 2020 and February 2021. MetroCrest served 306 families, about 950 people last year. They provide rent assistance to 83 households served, about 262 individuals. That's equivalent to 195 months of rent, provided at a cost of $155,248 direct assistance. They also provided pantry service to 169 families, and employment. 111 people access their service, and 554 services provide resume help, networking, and referrals. So you can see what they have done for the city of Coppell and its residents. I want to thank you again.
Thank you, Councilmember Matthew, for the motion. Do I have a second? Council Long? All in favor?
Long, Hinojosa Smith, Nevels, John, Matthew Hill in favor. None opposed. The motion carries.
I do have one thing to say, Tracy, before I turn the mic over to you. One of my biggest regrets about not being a council member anymore is that I will not be serving as a liaison to MetroCrest. And I've been doing that for the past 4 or 5, 6 years, and it's been one of the biggest joys I've had is being on this council. So thank you for your service, and thank you for everything that you bring to our community. Councilmember June?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Eubank, I got the opportunity to meet you through Becky, and there you go. And I'm I didn't see you, but I'm grateful that I got to meet and also be able to visit and see the amount of work that you do. And I'm sure you could probably agree that it's not the service that you give, but also the thanks that you get from those people that you actually serve. But every single day that you're serving out there, we know that it's making a difference to someone. So thank you so much for all the effort that you put forth every single day.
Councilmember Hinojosa Smith?
A lot has been said, and honestly, thank you isn't even enough for all that you do, Tracy and the board and everybody at MetroCrest, all of you. Thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for serving our citizens, our community, and all the communities around us. And really stepping up and going above and beyond through some very difficult times that were truly unprecedented. And sometimes I'm sure y'all weren't sure where things were going to come from, but you made it work, and were able to service everybody that needed to be provided for during some difficult times. So thank you.
So Tracy, I'm guessing that you might want to say a few things. Sure. So here's your proclamation, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for honoring us with handling this 50th anniversary celebration, this proclamation. We have a great board. Becky Ratliff's my boss here, so we're trying to do a good job for Becky. And for Andy Daster, a Coppell resident, who's going to be our chair next year. This past year has been unique for us. So we've had 50 years partnering with Coppell. We've got 50 years ahead of us partnering with Coppell. But this past year has been truly unprecedented, and we could have not have done what we've done, what Councilman Matthew outlined, without the support of the City Council, of staff. They're always looking out for us this past year, asking how we can help, and from the citizens of Coppell that stepped up to assist us as we help Coppell families with rent, with food, for job services, whatever was needed during this past year, which has been very difficult. We still have a tough time ahead, but we're making great progress. We could not do it without you, so thank you very much. We are truly honored.
Good thing your fist came up there.
At the request of Councilmember Hinojosa Smith, which is well thought out, we're going to take a 5-minute recess to allow people to exit and say goodbye to their families. We will be back at 8:30. Reconvene.
The mayor would like us back. Yeah. I try. I got no pull here. I'm the young guy.
To bring the shrimp cocktail back here, so you no, just kidding. Just kidding.
Cliff.
I'm here.
Mike, are these unseatable? Because I saw the tape's been torn on. Yeah. In the seat.
Cliff Long, Mark Hill.
Brianna's back there.
Kevin, how are you? Good. Who's in place 6 up there? Shall I come up? Guys, I know we're in good hands. You guys, Wes, you're doing a great job. Mike, are we going to, at some point? You got it. Take care, guys.
Shake your hand. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Really good, man.
Appreciate it.
Oh.
Actually, the game.
All right, we are reconvening and the time is 8:33. Item number 8 is citizens' appearance. I have nobody signed up to talk. Ashley, do we have anybody?
No, sir, we do not.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Seeing none, we will move on to item number 9, which is approval of the minutes that we were provided beforehand. Is there any comments or discussion on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion. Councilmember Long.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve item number, what was it? Got away from me here. 9.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Councilmember June. All in favor?
Long, Hinojosa Smith, Nevels, Dunn, Matthew Hill in favor. None opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Moving on, number 10, Jessica Carpenter, Director Representative. Sorry, Jessica.
That's okay. I'll answer
Item
anything.
number 10, will you please read that into the record for me?
Yes, sir. Consider approval of an agreement with Macbeth Corporation for contracted food and beverage services for the Art Center not to exceed $10,000 for fiscal year 2021 as budgeted, and authorizing the city manager to sign any necessary documents. Mayor and Council, I'm Jessica Carpenter, Director of Parks and Recreation. Also with me tonight is Alex Hargis, our Art Center Managing Director. I'm happy to be presenting the very first item to our new council. Congratulations. Tonight we're here to obtain approval to enter into an agreement with Macbeth Catering to provide food and beverage operations at the Coppell Arts Center. Tonight I'd like to begin by providing a brief history regarding Arts Center catering up to this point in time. So as you may know, the Coppell Arts Center will require a contracted food and beverage service partner vendor to provide dedicated both concession operations for presented and resident company performances, as well as catering for internal private rental events, corporate retreats, weddings, things like that. The city originally engaged in a request for proposal process in 2019. This initial RFP resulted in just one respondent who did not have concession experience or a background working in any kind of entertainment venue facility, which is what we were looking for. At that time, the Arts Center staff attempted to secure proposals from some of the larger food and beverage providers in the industry, such as Compass and Spectrum. Unfortunately, we were turned down due to our small capacity size. So some of these vendors, Compass and Spectrum, partner with some of our larger performing arts venues, the AT&T Performing Arts Center, and some of the larger sports venues in the area. So they were not interested in our size at that time. Staff then solicited some local, well-established caterers for proposals, and so these caterers included India 101, Beyond the Box, J. Macklin's Catering, as well as Culinary Arts Catering. There we go. So India 101 at that time declined to submit a proposal. Tastings were conducted with the remaining caterers, and staff selected Culinary Arts Catering using best fit criteria. The city entered into an agreement with Culinary Arts Catering from May of last year through December of 2020, when the vendor opted to terminate our agreement due to unfortunate business impacts of the pandemic. The Arts Center staff, as well as our procurement department, reviewed the prior vendor finalists that submitted to the original RFP and the original process, and chose to approach J. Macklin's Catering about being the new exclusive vendor for the Coppell Arts Center. Considering the changes due to COVID on lots of different businesses, J. Macklin's Catering Company at that time agreed that they would be interested in becoming our concessionaire and exclusive caterer. So some of our deciding factors in selecting Macbeth Corporation as our catering vendor is a 3-year agreement. They're also a Coppell-based vendor. They know our city. They have a personal interest in the success of our city. They know our customer base, and they have a proven track record of both quality and service. J. Macklin's in general has been a great partner with the city, different events and things throughout the year, and always have provided excellent food and excellent service. They have a competitive cost-sharing and commission structure. Again, they own a Coppell restaurant, a special event venue, as well as their own catering kitchen. They're really committed to creative solutions, and they can deliver a variety of offerings for a venue of our small size. The tasting was excellent, excellent flavors, presentation, and ideas for menu items. And most importantly, they can prepare some diverse cultural options that can cater to, Pan-Asian tastes and kosher diets. Some current and previous clients of Macbeth Corporation include UNT, the City of Coppell, and numerous DFW wedding planners. So if the wedding planners can speak well of you, that's a great compliment. So just some brief information on the commissions and fee structure. So basically there's going to be 2 portions of the agreement. It's for Macbeth to offer both concession operations as well as catering operations. So in the concession commission, so concessions are going to be, your traditional intermission style beverages, snacks, things of that nature, or pre-show. And then your catering commissions, which is going to be your catering operations dealing with weddings, event rentals, and corporate rentals. So the city will receive 20% commission on gross profits of concession operations, and will also guarantee a break-even operation on concessions. And then catering, the city's commission will be 10% on gross revenue. There is no management fee in this agreement. Some other contract details. Again, this is a 3-year agreement with an optional 1-2-year renewal term. The vendor will also pay and be responsible and hold the facility's liquor license. So this is good. This does transfer risk away from the city, and the vendor will then hold that license. The vendor will be the exclusive food and beverage provider for the Art Center. Exceptions from this exclusivity clause will be made for the city, the Coppell Art Center Foundation, our resident companies, as well as the Coppell Chamber. And that exclusivity clause applies to catering only. Concessions will still be required through Macbeth for all of the other performances. The menu design and pricing will be done jointly between the vendor and the city. The vendor will take care of all of the POS systems and maintain PCI compliance. They will commission settlements and invoicing will occur on a monthly basis. And the vendor will indemnify the city and hold the appropriate insurance coverages. And then the city has the sole authority to suspend work or terminate this agreement at any time. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the Macbeth Catering Agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Carpenter. Any questions, council? Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any questions other than to say that it sounds like y'all did your homework. I'm glad to see that one of our local businesses is the one that has stepped up for serving our citizens, and it sounds like it's the right partner to provide this particular service. And so with that said, I'm excited to see that we're continuing to find opportunities to work with our local businesses. So thank you.
Agreed. Thank you. It's a win-win, I believe.
Council, I'll entertain a motion. Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 11.
10.
I'm sorry. Item number 10. Sorry about that.
Second. Councilmember Hinojosa Smith. All in favor?
Long, Hinojosa Smith, Nevels, Dunn, Matthew Hill in favor. None opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Well, this must be opportune time for you. Number 11.
Yes, it's me again.
Consider a resolution allowing a memorandum of understanding between the City of Coppell and the Coppell Art Center Foundation and authorizing the mayor to sign and the city manager to execute any necessary documents. The memo that was included in the packet on Friday has been amended to add subsection C, Joint Responsibilities 1.7, quote, as set forth in this MOU, in no event may the foundation engage or bind contractually the city to any course of action or obligation, unquote. Ms. Carpenter.
We do not have an additional presentation regarding this item. As Mr. Mayor set forth in 1.7, that was an amendment issued, and I'm happy to answer any further questions that might come up regarding the MOU.
Council, any comments, questions? Councilmember John.
The only comment I had, I appreciate Mr. Hager giving me a call and talking about the possibility, or just wanted to make it clear that in the interest of the city, because any act or a third person that could actually see a person possibly acting on behalf of the city could bind it, and that's the reason why last time I talked about making it clear that they understand that they're not to be binding or acting any way that could be seen as a third person, that they are acting on behalf of the city. So that's all. And I know all the members are devoted, and it's just that part of the doing the business to protect the city. That was all. So thank you. Thanks for adding that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question for Bob, Mr. Hager.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so the question is, the foundation is using the city name to raise fund, correct?
They raise funds as a foundation. The word Coppell's in it because the foundation's name is Coppell Arts, Culture, and Historical Foundation. So the word Coppell is used in it. Coppell is not exclusive to us. It just identifies what city they are, and they have their own nonprofit corporation status, and so.
So I'm trying to understand the liability for the city in the event if there is a misused fund by the foundation or something, if somebody file a lawsuit,
If the foundation solicits funds and misappropriates those funds, the city does not have any liability. That's why we set it up to Mr. June's point. That's why we wanted to make it clear in this memorandum of understanding that they don't act for and on behalf of the city or bind the city, that they're operating the foundation as a separate legal entity.
So this language will protect the city.
It helps protect the city to
That's
make it clear. And I think we've added that in boldface as well, so that anyone that reads that document will be drawn to that clause that we put in the agreement.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all.
Council, I'll entertain a motion or further comments. I am informed that it is subsection A instead of subsection C as we read into the record.
We're at item 11. Okay, I move to approve item 11.
Do I have a second? Councilmember John? All in favor?
Long, Kano, Smith, Nevels, John, Matthew Hill in favor, none opposed. The motion carries.
Item number 12, consider an amendment and restate development incentive agreement by and between the City of Coppell and Veridesk LLC and authorizing the mayor to sign. Ms. Mindy Hurley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I'm Mindy Hurley, the Director of Community Development. And tonight we are here to talk about an amended and restated economic development incentive agreement with Veridesk. So you can see on the screen the land that I'm about to talk about. So in December of 2020, Veridesk purchased the northeast corner of Freeport Parkway and State Highway 121. They purchased this land to construct their new corporate headquarters and their next Verispace location. Prior to the purchase of the land, the City Council on December 8th of 2020 passed an incentive package that included a tax abatement agreement and an economic development incentive agreement in order to help finalize this deal. The tax abatement applies to the real property and the real property improvements, and the economic development incentive agreement applies to the personal property, the sales tax, and a few other items under personal property. And so the land that will house the new corporate headquarters has been transferred to Verispace LLC. They created a new legal entity in order to transfer the land to that legal entity. Verisales Corporation is another company affiliate that exists today. And so in the original economic development incentive agreement, these legal entities were not listed as company affiliates because they were not created at that time. So since that time, they have created these, they have transferred the land, and so they want to make sure that under the definition of company, they include company affiliates as well. And so tonight, I'm before you asking for you to approve this amendment in order to include the company affiliates in the definition of company in the agreement. And so this change is purely administrative in nature. There are no changes to the terms of the agreement, including the company affiliates really just honors what we originally passed with the original agreement. And so with that, I am asking that this amendment is being requested to ensure that all company affiliates are included in the agreement between the City of Coppell and Veridesk LLC. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Ms. Hurley? Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor.
He had his hand up first.
Ms. Hurley, I wanted to ask you a question about the incentives that we are giving to Veridesk for the benefit of the new council member, Mr. Nevels, and also the people who are watching. How much money we paid from the Eco Devo Fund, and also the summary of what are the incentives we are providing this corporation for the next 10 years, please?
Absolutely. So we did, as part of the total incentive package, I think you're talking about the money that we gave to help relocate some utilities on the site to make the site developable for Veridesk and Verispace LLC now. We also passed a tax abatement. We passed a real and business personal property rebate. We passed a rebate on, a one-time cash grant for the employment positions that they hire. We have a sales tax rebate for any sales that are sourced to the city of Coppell. We have a waiver, a 50% waiver of building permit fees, and we also did a sales tax rebate on purchases, the materials that were purchased to construct the building that are sourced to Coppell. So that's the totality of the incentive package.
So it was about $350,000?
$350,000 was for the relocation of the utilities. The total of the other incentive package is hard to place a number on because it's based on the value of the property each year. So it's hard to give a real total of what that will be.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember John?
Thank you, Mayor. So the grant that you talked about, how often do we do that?
The grant to relocate utilities?
Correct.
It has happened from time to time. To tell you exactly how many numbers of times that we've done that, I'm not sure. But that is part of what we can do through a Chapter 380 rebate. So that was just one use of a Chapter 380 rebate that we did to help make the land developable.
And is that something that we offer to generally someone that's already in Coppell that's trying to move, or someone that's coming new to Coppell? Or what is the usual situation of granting some?
It's generally a request, and then City Council has to make that decision on whether they want to approve that or not. So it's not something we lead with as an offer, but if it's a request and there was a request made, and that was part of the total incentive package that we offered.
Okay. And the second question I had was, I'm sure Veridesk has various reasons for creating subsidiary or affiliates. Have we looked into see if there's going to be any implication on our side, from the city side, and do we have sufficient time to look into it thoroughly to make sure that we're not going to have negative impact?
Yes, sir. So this is a common practice for businesses. It's very often that they will create a separate legal entity to house their real property versus their personal property. I don't know the answer to the business decisions on doing that, but that it is a common practice. We have been working with Veridesk since early February, so we have had plenty of time. Our attorney has been involved and has been working with them to draft these agreements. And once again, by including the company affiliates, it's still only the incentive agreement only applies to the taxes that are sourced to the location in Coppell. So it has no change. It just honors what we have already approved by including the company affiliates.
Thank you.
Council, do we have any more comments or questions? I'll count Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve item number 12.
And a second by Councilmember Matthew. All in favor?
Long, Hinojosa, Smith, Nevels, John, Matthew Hill, in favor. None opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 13, consider approval to enter into a contract with DDM Construction Corporation for the reconstruction of Plantation Drive and Mossy Oak Street in the amount of $5,390,327.90 with a maximum potential incentive of $67,500 for a total contract amount of $5,457,827.90 as provided by the 2020 bond proceeds and authorizing the city manager to sign any necessary documents. Mr. Kent Collins.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Kent Collins, Director of Public Works. Also have with me Jamie Brierton. She's our Capital Programs Administrator. I want to. You've read the item caption, so I won't read that again. But I do want to start with a little bit of background on how a project such as this gets to this point, because. For us, it feels like we've done an awful lot of work to get here. And for the residents, this is really when the work begins, what they see and what they experience. So If I go back to 2013, that was the first time that the city did a citywide pavement condition assessment. And in 2013, this project was put on our radar as a need. So Plantation, Mossy Oaks, we knew we needed to think about reconstructing it. So we started doing some planning on it. If you'll remember, there's a lot of projects that were going on in the 2015 to 2016 time frame. We started design on this. We got design underway, and that's typically how it's done, right? We identify the need, we put it in our plans, we select an engineer. The way we do that, it's qualifications based. So every 3 to 4 to 5 years, we go out and we select a slate of engineers based on qualifications. So we look at the projects that we're going to need over the next few years, and we put out an RFQ, and we select that slate of engineers based on their qualifications and the needs that we know we're going to have. So we go through, the council would see that contract to start design, and we would start design, go through the design process. We get to the point where we have 100% ready to bid plans and specifications, estimates. We bid it out. We go through a public open bidding process. In the case of construction, once we bid that out, in this case, we bid it out and opened those bids on April 1st. We'll take those bids, we'll evaluate those bids, and under state law for roadway construction, we're required to accept the lowest responsible bidder. So that kind of gives you an idea on how a project goes through from we identify a need to we get it in. In this case, we've sold bonds for this project. We sold bonds for it in 2020. It might have a different funding source depending on the project. And then we get to this point where we're ready to bring it to council for consideration for award. I also want to mention, one of the things that we do throughout that process is communicate with the community. And how we do that, I've mentioned some of the meetings that we have that are public meetings. So whether it's an update to council on projects, or it's a budget discussion, or award of or approval of the bond for the project, when we start design, our engineers actually go on site. So we send letters to all the residents that are affected and let them know, hey, this is a real project. We know that you experienced the condition of the roadway. We're starting a project to design and build this, and our first step is our engineers are going to be on your street doing survey, taking samples of the pavement. So you'll see them out there, and we provide them our project manager's contact at that point. Once we get into construction, we'll have project signs. So again, they will see that. Maybe if they don't get a notice or they don't come to a neighborhood meeting, they always have the ability to reach out and contact us. So with that as a bit of a backdrop on how we develop projects from identifying the need, back up. So Plantation Drive and Mossy Oaks, they were originally constructed in the mid-1980s, 84 and 85. They're part of the Shadow Ridge Estates. The pavement design at that time was intended to have a 20-year life. As I mentioned, we've designed this project. We have opened bids. Bids were opened in the first week of April. We received 9 bids. The bid tabulation is included in your packet. So the scope of the project is we're going to replace the full pavement replacement, utility replacement, rehab, drainage improvements, new sidewalks. If you think about Plantation and Mossy Oaks, all total is about 5,000 linear feet of infrastructure, paving, water, sewer, drainage. The DDM Construction Corporation, they were identified as the lowest responsible bidder of the 9 bids received. They have a base bid of $5,390,327.90, plus a potential incentive of $67,500 for a total award of $5,457,827.90. I do want to explain, though, that when we receive bids for projects like this, we typically use what's called A plus B bidding. So the A is the value of the project. So that's that base bid, that $5.39 million. We also ask them to bid the time that they expect it to take. And that's a contractual number that they put in. In this case, DDM submitted a bid of 10 months or 301 calendar days. And we apply a value per day of $1,500 per day. So the B is the value of that time. In this case, they actually submitted the lowest time, the B part of the A plus B bidding. So if you look at the bid tab across the bottom, it shows A plus B for each of the bidders. That's what we use to compare the bids, but we do not award the B. So we award the A plus the potential incentive that's capped, in this case, at $67,500. Geotechnical testing services will be a subsequent contract. We will bring that. That'll be on the agenda for the next council meeting in the event that the construction contract is awarded this evening. I know I've said a lot, and now I'm just to the area map. So this is the area we're talking about. It's north of Bethel School and west of Denton Tap, if you're familiar with Plantation and Mossy Oaks. Here's a zoomed-in view. Plantation is in pink, and the yellow line represents Mossy Oaks. As I mentioned, Mossy Oaks is about 600 linear feet, and Plantation's about 3,400 linear feet, around 5,000 feet total. One thing you might ask, so when we get into construction, traffic will be limited to one direction throughout the duration of the project. So Plantation will be one direction eastbound. Mossy Oaks will be one direction southbound. And so what are the alternate routes? They're the typical alternate routes that you might consider in a neighborhood. So you could use Whispering Hills. And I should mention, Whispering Hills was one of the streets that was under reconstruction back in 16 and 17. And we were getting the sense at that time that there was some construction fatigue happening in this area. So we moved over to other neighborhoods, did some other projects. Now we're coming back. But you could use Whispering Hills, you could use Spanish Moss, Steamboat, Southern Bell. Ultimately, most people are going to end up on Bethel School or South Coppell Road. Got a couple of few slides here that show the condition of the pavement today as we prepare to reconstruct it. These are a couple of photos of Plantation. It reflects the crack sealing that we do. You'll be familiar. We annually go out and do crack sealing. We've got concrete paving that's broken up. We've patched with asphalt. You can see those cracks leading into the curb inlets. Again, more concrete paving that's broken up. Same thing on Mossy Oak Street. Next slide. So as I mentioned, upon approval of this contract, the contractor would begin their pre-construction planning and coordination work would begin. That would include a neighborhood meeting or meetings, given the length of Plantation. We're talking about doing multiple meetings, either have a couple of meetings where anybody could come out, or maybe break it up by section. But we will have that neighborhood meeting. Typically what we experience in those neighborhood meetings, the folks that show up, they're very happy that we're about to start this project. They know that the need is there. What we really want is the opportunity to communicate and talk one-on-one with the residents about what their concerns are as people that live on these streets. How are they going to get their mail? Can they park right in front of their house, or do they have to park in back, or how is that going to work? Do they have an electric-powered vehicle that need a plug-in, and things like that we can then think about, talk with the contractor. They'll be at the meetings as well. We'll have staff, we'll have our design engineer, we'll have our contractor there, so they can work through answering those questions or work on solutions for some of the problems that might not be so simple to deal with right off the top of our head. So we'll have those meetings. I would expect within the next 4 to 6 months, or 4 to 6 weeks, we would actually start construction out there. You would see the contractor beginning to mobilize. The Public Works Department does recommend approval of this contract with DDM Construction Corporation in the amount of $5,457,827.90, and that does include the maximum incentive. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council, questions, comments? Councilmember Nevels.
All right, here we go. My first time. All right. So, Mr. Collins, you said in the presentation that the original road had a 20-year lifespan, and so obviously we stretched it to 40 years. What's the lifespan of the replacement road that's going to be put in place?
The design life is identified in the geotech report for the paving section is 25 years. Again, through maintenance, through management, we would expect it to last longer than that, but that is the stated design life.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir.
Councilmember Matthew. Councilmember John.
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that you're going to be having meetings with the residents. Are they also going to be provided with the alternative routes as the construction moves forward, and affecting each part of the road?
Yes, sir.
And how often will the meeting be held with the residents?
How often? Mm-hmm. Well, we have the one meeting before we start construction. We update our website, so we have a website that, I think that answers your question. We have the one neighborhood meeting, but we have continuous communication and are available throughout the construction project.
Okay. And the additional question I had was, on the memo it says that the downstream drainage study that was actually done in 2019 instead of 2016, which actually costed additional $40,000. Is there a specific reason why that was not actually done in 2016?
So I can explain why it was not done in 2016. It was. So once we got into the design of the project, we identified that there was local ponding of water and localized flooding. So the design included additional inlets and additional drainage improvements. And our concern was that when we added the capacity to the street and added, it could potentially increase the flow of the storm water in the storm drain system, that it might affect the stream. And so we wanted to study that and make sure. So it was a change in the scope of the construction or the actual design that drove the need to add the scope to actually do the study of the storm drain and the stream.
And would that be something would be taken into consideration if we went and tackle another street possibly to combine it with the initial engineering services so that we don't come back with the additional costs? Possibly that could have been taken into account with the original services.
Yes, sir. Yes. Typically, we would include everything in the scope. I think it was just that as we got into the design, we realized those improvements needed to be made, and so we didn't want to do something as part of the project that created problems downstream.
Thank you. Council, any questions, further questions, comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve agenda item number 13.
Second. Councilmember Hinojosa Smith, all in favor?
Long, Hinojosa Smith, Neville's, Dunn, Matthew Hill in favor, none opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Council.
Item number 14 is a public hearing, which is consider approval of a resolution granting a variance of 72 feet to Maple Mart from the 300-foot prohibited requirement for the off-premise sale of alcoholic beverages, with the business address being 1301 East Beltline Road, and authorizing the mayor to sign. This is a public hearing, and I open that. Ms. Owens.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Ashley Owens. I'm the City Secretary, and I am here tonight to hold the public hearing for Maple Mart to request a 72-foot variance. This location is Maple Mart is located at 1301 East Beltline Road. So the request for the variance is due to new ownership of the convenience store. The new owners are required to obtain a Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission permit, better known as TABC, and in their name to sell beer and wine for off-premise consumption. This is required for all ownership changes. So just to give you a little bit of history, state law prohibits the sale of wine and beer for off-premise consumption within 300 feet of a church, a public school, or a private school. And located here is, oops, sorry. Okay. There we go. Okay. The Discover and Share Daycare is located at 790 South MacArthur Road, and this is about 228 feet away from Maple Mart, thus the need for a distance variance. Maple Mart began operation in 2006, and at that time, City Council granted the requested variance. They went under new ownership in 2012 and in 2013. Both times those variances were granted as well. The application is from Trinity Line Investment, LLC, and the applicant is supposed to be present tonight, but I do not see them in the crowd. We are required to place notice of the public hearing in the local newspaper, which is the Irving Rambler. We did that on May 1st and May 8th. And so far, our office has not received any feedback as of the posting of this agenda and as of tonight. The variance is a first step in a multi-step process for an owner to receive a TABC permit. So we are just one little hop and skip for this entity. I'll be happy to entertain any questions and take any questions.
Council? Councilmember Nevels.
I'm sorry, Ms. Owens. Do you know, or has the city manager's office received any complaints or anything like that from, from any residents or anything that were customers of the Maple Mart?
No, sir. So I actually checked with the police department, and they received no complaints at all.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember John.
Thank you, Mayor. I know the, I guess the Discover
and Share.
Yeah, them and the church, they're the one who's kind of affected within the I guess the distance.
Yes, sir.
Did we actually reach out to them and?
We do. So we require that the entity reach out and send a letter. I also did speak with the manager.
And they had no issues?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Councilmember Matthew? I thought I saw your hand raised. No. Oh, it was Mayor Pro Tem Hill. I apologize.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing and approve item number 14.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Councilmember John. All in favor?
Long, Hinojosa Smith, Neville's, Dunn, Matthew Hill in favor. None opposed. The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
So item 15 is a open discussion among council on our previously agreed upon review of the mask mandate every 2 weeks, and tonight is that 2-week period. Mr. Land, did you have some comments to make?
Very briefly. As of the information we received from Dallas County today, the city of Coppell, or those residents who identified the city of Coppell, have received about 61% of our residents having the vaccine. So 61%. That and 75019 includes a few more, obviously, in the Dallas area. And then I was specifically asked if we'd check on our employees as far as the number of employees who have had the vaccine and or exposed to COVID. Our total number is right around 71%. So, in checking with our employees who are in, and let's call it more the public view, if you will, or in contact with public. It's around that same number as far as the number of employees who have received their vaccination. I'm talking about things like the window, the core, library. So those numbers are all very similar.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Council, any comments, discussion? Councilmember Long.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, a few comments. As I have indicated previously, I did not feel like that the mask mandate that we have is really of any value, and I feel more strongly about that this evening than I have previously. Since the city's separate mask policy began 6 or 8 weeks ago, COVID cases and deaths in our area have declined in our area. This would imply that the environment in our area is conducive to reducing COVID cases. We do not know if mask wearing at city facilities has had any effect on COVID cases, since there's no statistical information on that. Over the past 6 to 8 weeks, our environment has changed for the better. We can now get vaccinated. Prior to that, the medicine was limited, and so I might want to get vaccinated, but I could not get vaccinated because there wasn't an availability. That's not the problem now. Today, the adults that desire to be vaccinated, the vaccine is available without delay. Based on the current conditions and the fact that individuals have sole responsibility as to whether or not they want to get the vaccine and get it immediately, I see no logical justification for a mask mandate in the city.
Thank you, Councilmember Long.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go down the row. Councilmember Hinojosa Smith, you have anything to say?
I know that we had talked about the fact that we, let me start with this. I was in favor of continuing to wear the masks. And we had said we would continue to evaluate where that was, I guess, every 2 weeks when we meet on council. I realize that the numbers are going down. We have more people that are vaccinated. I would say that I guess there's still guidelines out there that tell us to continue wearing masks. I guess there's still people that are going to stores and they have to wear masks. They walk into a restaurant, they have to wear a mask. I I guess I still feel like we're in a position to make sure that our citizens continue to be safe. Yes, there are people that are still getting their vaccines or making those decisions. Even our employees, I realize that you ask, and there's probably 70%, but there's still 25% or so of our employees that are not vaccinated, and we're not making that mandatory. There are people that are, like, travel has gone up. We know that there are outbreaks in other parts of the world. And I guess for me, I'm not ready to say no to masks. I'm willing to hear what other council members have to say. I know we talk about, if we've got 4, we can go in a different direction. I think I'd like to continue to see the numbers go up with regards to vaccines, less cases, and just continue to make sure that for those that are still potentially at risk, that we provide them the safety and health measures that I think we should as a city. I'm not hearing complaints of people saying we don't go to the city, town center because we have to wear a mask. I mean, even when we were requiring people to come in and vote, I wasn't seeing people say we can't go inside, or I refuse to go inside because I have to wear a mask. We're not the only ones that are requiring it. And again, it's still a safety measure, and I don't know that I'm ready to say no masks in city facilities.
Thank you. Councilmember Nevels.
City Manager Land, question for you. I go back to, as far as my business that I run, I want to make sure that I protect my employees. And I appreciate you, sharing numbers and percentages and things like that. I guess in your assessment, in speaking with the employees and things like that, do you have a sense of if they feel safe to make the mask optional? I don't think anyone is saying to get rid of the mask mandate, but obviously just to make it optional. So do you have a sense of how the employees feel about that?
I'm only smiling because we have the same feelings that everybody else does, as far as the vast majority do want to wear their mask. There are some that don't want to wear their mask. Mm-hmm. Those that come in contact with the public, there's probably, I would say there's a higher interest in continuing to wear the mask. Mm-hmm. But, we're coming up on the summer. I'll tell you, our frontline folks who are out in the parks and out in the streets, they would like to get out from under their mask. Mm-hmm. But right now, we require the mask, and so that's what we do.
Excellent. Has there been any previous discussion about making anyone who works outside a facility not wear a mask?
No, we've been really consistent. When you're together with other employees, we ask our employees to wear the mask.
I know we have new information from the CDC about outdoor and things like that, so I think that that's something that we should take into consideration in possibly amending that policy to maybe give some discretion to if you are outside. That would be my look on it for now.
Okay.
That's what I got, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councilmember John.
Thank you, Mayor. Initially, we talked about that there's going to be a percentage of citizens that are not going to get vaccinated regardless how readily, easily it's going to be available. And we talked about how getting to a certain percentage as to protecting our employee staff as well. It appears that, just like Councilmember Long had stated, that the vaccines are readily available if you want it. And we're at the percentage already over 60% and plus more, because those who have vaccinated from out of the Dallas County are not accounted for. And I hear Councilmember Hinojosa Smith's concern, but I think we're getting to a point where if we are going to continue to just think about only those that are not getting vaccinated, regardless whether it's their choice or not, then masks will never be lifted to the point where we can give individual a choice to wear it at the city facilities. So I think we're at the point where we do need to go ahead and give the freedom of each person to choose, because they can choose to get vaccinated and they can choose to wear the mask, and they can also choose not to wear the mask, and they could also choose not to be at the facility where we no longer require the mask. So I'm in favor of lifting the mask mandate, because I think it is that point where each person can choose to do either one of those, and we still do provide all the services that are available at the city, not just in person, but also online as well. So I am in favor of lifting the mask at this point.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. I received a number of phone calls and emails from members who are attending the core. When they are working out, it's becoming a little bit difficult for them with the mask. With the 71% or 70+% Coppell residents, plus Mike just mentioned 70% of the staff is vaccinated, or they are in process of getting it. So I think the numbers is going up. The vaccinations are available at this point. So I am in favor of lifting the mask mandate, but I would make a recommended postings, like we recommend that you wear one instead of mandating. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
All right, so I'm really encouraged by what I'm seeing here with the trending of the statistics. You know, we've seen a 10% drop last week, 7% the week before. But several weeks before that, we saw a 10% increase, and a 37.5 increase. So we're trending down in the right direction, and obviously being at 61% of people vaccinated here in Coppell, probably a little higher, because I know I got mine out of Dallas County, so probably maybe 65. And realistically, we're probably not going to get to an 80% vaccination rate. We're seeing surveys that show that somewhere between 70 and 75% of the people are going to get it. But the one thing that is encouraging in my mind is there are a lot more people who are no longer waiting to see to get the vaccine, and we're seeing an uptick in those numbers. So, I guess it was March 29th where the vaccine became readily available to everyone. So there's kind of a time lag in there when you factor in, taking off work, scheduling to go get your vaccination, 3 weeks between doses. If you're getting Johnson & Johnson, it's just one. And then 2 weeks for full resistance to COVID-19. So if we were looking at March 29th plus those 6 weeks, it would basically be today. Now that would only be allowing like 1 week for people to schedule, but I think there was that hesitancy because people were still afraid, and I think if we just go 2 weeks more longer, then we will really be solid, and I would be ready to give up the mask mandate, but I can't do it at this meeting.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councilmember Hinojosa Smith.
I think I just want to make a clarifying comment because Councilmember June, I just for clarification, I'm not saying that I'm never going to be for this. I think what Mayor Pro Tem Hill just made a comment about, even if we went another 2 weeks, I know that we're never going to be 100%. We're never even going to be 100% in my own household as far as having vaccinations. So I see that there are things that are, I know the realistic numbers, and I know that at some point we do need to make that decision of people making, of having that choice, and I think I completely agree with that. I just think that right now we're not the only ones, again, of requiring people to wear masks in city facilities. Again, you have to walk into a grocery store, it's required masks. If you walk into a restaurant, it's required masks until you sit down and you start eating. There's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle, again, from availability of, as Mayor Pro Tem Hill mentioned, availability of the vaccines, the timeline. I think a lot of people too were, for whatever reason, waiting, whether it's because of their religion, their beliefs, because of their medical history, whatever it may be. Again, we're never going to get 100%. Councilmember Bijou or Matthew, you mentioned with people. Sorry, it's just easy to say Bijou. Sorry, Councilmember Matthews. You had mentioned like people working out in the core, like taking masks. If we wanted to do something there, like at Texas Family Fitness, I don't have to wear a mask to work out. And actually, I think it's detrimental to people's health to have to wear a mask while they're working out. To walk into the facility, I think that makes sense. To have to wear it while they're working out, I guess I didn't realize we were doing that.
The core actually doesn't require it while you're working.
It doesn't. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure because I was
for the majority of the areas.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was like, if we're making people wear them while they're working out, like I'm not okay with that. And so I guess where I'm coming from is maybe I'm more aligned with what the comments are that are coming from Councilmember Hill. Maybe we give it another 2 weeks. Honestly, the CDC changes on a daily basis what they're doing. And I think everyone's still trying to figure things out, even at work. My work has gone from going to the office January, March, June, and now it's September. And a lot of it is because we can't require people to tell you whether they're vaccinated or not, right? Like you can't ask them. And so, but yet I know that my colleagues in India are losing family members on a daily basis. And up until recently, there was a lot of travel back and forth. And so, again, I think it's just a matter of maybe all of us somehow aligning, because I understand everybody's comments. I understand where you're coming from, Councilmember Long and Councilmember Nevels and June and Matthews and Hill. But just trying to figure out, like, what's that threshold that we're trying to get to so that in 2 weeks we can say, okay, we've met that threshold. Are we all good with it? Versus kind of not necessarily being aligned on where we're going. I guess I would love to understand what's that threshold that everybody is willing to be at, and then we can kind of go from there. Because I think maybe in 2 weeks we might have reached that point.
Councilmember John.
It's precisely what you said. CDC is constantly changing. But the thing is, at this point, we have vaccines to go around more than enough, and people have the choice of being able to get the vaccine if they want to. Previously, that was not the case. And at this point, everyone that wants vaccine can get the vaccine. Everyone, in fact, probably 2 weeks ago, that they could have done it too, if they wanted to, and be fully vaccinated at this time as well. So when you're talking about threshold, I mean, we knew from the beginning that there's going to be percentage of people that are not going to get vaccine regardless how much time we give, and we're never going to get to 100%. But it's only the time that we needed to give for them to have sufficient time to be able to have that availability. And I think we're already at that point where they have the choice of getting it if they wanted to. And there's no reason to be holding on to another 2 weeks when they have the choice of getting the vaccine, wearing the mask, or not, not going to places that they feel they're not comfortable with. Sure, restaurants, grocery stores they do have their own choice as well. We're talking about city facilities at this point, and we were also concerned about protecting our staff. And I think we're already, again, the city staff also has that choice too. If they wanted to get vaccine, they could have got vaccine. All the choices are there. So to me, there's no reason to hold additional 2 weeks at this point.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments? What I'm hearing is Member Long.
I just want to make a comment that the statistics and the information that we're getting is junk. And I mean, that's beyond, because my wife and I went to McClendon County to get vaccinated. How many people? A bunch, just on the dais here. And so, just take that percentage. And so we're not getting any, in other words, even if we said, okay, if X happens, I have no confidence if it's coming from the county or the state or the national level. I have no confidence in the numbers. So I don't know how you're going to set, it's just like Mr. John said. There's a choice, and that's what I tried to say here. They have a choice. I mean, they can do it tonight if they want the vaccine. The vaccine is proving that it's effective. And so why kick it down the road another 2 weeks? Or another day, for that matter. So anyway, thank you, Mary.
Okay. So I was keeping an informal tally as we went down, and we do have a slight consensus in the relaxing of the mandate. I would like to venture my opinion that I would like to see the city make it recommended, and the city manager can make it mandatory for his employees. That's not what we're talking about here. This is for our citizens that are coming in, and I believe he has done that in the past. But at this point, I believe I'm hearing from the group that we have a consensus to relax the mandate. Mr. Land, do you have something to say?
If that is the consensus, which I believe that it is based on what you've just said, much like what happened last time, we'd like to give it till Monday. The reason being is because we need to change out our signage, we need to notify the public, we need to notify our staff. So that just gives us the balance between now and Monday to be able to provide the notification to the community so that they'll know. And if people start choosing to not to wear their mask starting tomorrow, okay, I mean, that's fine. But for us, we've got to provide that notification to let everybody know what to anticipate when they come to our facilities in the future. So I just ask that through consensus that you give us the time till Monday so that we can just be real clear about that.
Well, this is really just an administrative direction for you to implement it at your discretion, as we originally.
Yeah, but
So, Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
I did have a question about Council Member Neville's position. I heard it the other way, and so I was thinking, well, here's a chance for the mayor to jump in.
No, I'm happy to clarify. So, no, I actually am in favor of relaxing the mask mandate. I did not make that very clear in my statement, as I am a rookie at this, so I apologize that I need to be very precise. What I meant to say is that I would also be in favor of, if we needed to make a adjustment to, just outside activities first, and then if we needed to do that as a stepping stone. But I am in favor of relaxing the mask mandate. So, and I apologize for any misinformation there.
Then the other question, can we just make it effective Monday to make it easy on staff?
Yes. Absolutely. It's, and I think it'd be very irresponsible for us to mandate it any quicker than what the city manager is recommending. Do you have enough to go forward? All right. Thank you, council. Thank you very much. This is obviously not something that is easy This has been debated nationally by the state, by every county, by every city, and I do not believe that we're neither leading nor are we trailing anyone. So thank you very much for the discussion. It's very nice to see open, honest discussion, and that's how we're going to move forward. Item number 16, City Manager reports.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few announcements. I believe we provided you some information earlier about this, but we're pleased to announce that the Coppell Parks and Recreation Department has once again been chosen as a finalist for the National Gold Medal Award for Excellence in Parks and Recreation. It's awarded by the American Academy for Parks and Recreation Administration and the National Recreation and Park Association. What it does is award recognizes agencies from across the country for the ability to address the needs of those they serve through collective energies of citizens, staffs, and elected officials. As you know, in the past, we have received this recognition as far as the nomination is concerned in both 2019 and 2020. And this year is extremely special to us because of 2020 and COVID and everything that happened and the creativity that went into serving our community. So we're very excited about that. We'll know later this year, as kind of in the fall, right? If I remember right, Jessica. Work on Oriole Alley project will begin this week, weather permitting. This is the second of the 3 alleys will be reconstructed this year. Traffic on Airline should be switched by the end of the month. By the end of the month, and demolition work will begin on the other half. And then the columbarium offices, as you know, through the deep freeze, they were damaged at that time. They are back and fully repaired and being occupied by the Rolling Oaks staff. So, Mayor and Council, that completes my report.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Matthew.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have a question for City Manager. I don't know. I've been getting couple of inquiries from the members from the core. When will be opening the basketball court and extending the time from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock? Do you have any?
Sure. And knowing that we've been asked that question multiple times before, if you recall during the budget process, we were taking into account what the Rule 334 would do. So we made the reductions back in December of 2019 going forward in January of 2020. During that time, because of the potential loss of the revenues, we had to make some decisions related to operations throughout the city. What we did is we took a look at the statistics for the operations of the core and identified that the hours that are optimal for the most use are actually between the morning time of 5 a.m. through about 8 p.m. So as of right now, through this budget year, there are no plans to open it after 8 o'clock. And then during the budget process, unless something were to change regarding Rule 334, we don't anticipate those hours changing after 8 o'clock, again, because the optimal use time is between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. in the evening.
Thank you. Just a follow-up question. One of the analysis was done by the staff. We'll be saving an estimated annual savings of $43,576. If we do that, is that
I don't recall the information, but if that's what we provided you, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on. Item number 17, Mayor and Council reports. On Sunday, May 16th at 3 p.m., the Coppell Art Center will host the Coppell Community Orchestra concert, Live, Love, and Dance. The concert will feature work centered around the themes of love, life, and dance. The Coppell Community Orchestra will feature small ensembles of string, brass, and woodwinds. This hour-long concert will entertain and educate those of all ages. Join us for the closing concert of the season and the first live audience performance since March of 2020. This concert will be socially distanced in the main hall, and tickets are free. Please reserve your ticket in advance, though. For more information, visit www.coppellartcenter.org. On Saturday, May 22nd, 11 a.m., the Coppell Art Center will host the Coppell Children's Chorus, the Vibrant Tones Encore, outside on the Grove. This is a free concert and will put a smile on your face and warm your heart. For more information, visit the coppellartcenter.org website. Also on May 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Coppell Art Center, join us for free live music outside on the Grove. The Boat Arcs will be performing from 6 to 8 p.m. Enjoy the music, mingle with friends, and purchase drinks from Macklin's Catering Company or food from the Big Kate Burgers and Kona Ice at the Arts Center during this free concert outdoors. The outdoor seating will be first come, first serve, and lawn chairs are welcomed. For more information, visit the Coppell Arts Center website. There will be a runoff election for City Council Place 3. Election day is June 5th. Please check the city's election page for more information at coppelltx.gov election for polling locations and times. Item number 18 is public service announcements concerning items of community interest. Do we have anything? No. I do have one little item that I would like to read, and let's let every member here remember that every short-term decision has long-term effects, and that long-term change can only happen with collaboration and consensus. Let's keep the best interest of Coppell in our hearts so that the best days of Coppell are still in our futures. With that, we will recess from regular session and convene into executive session, and the time is 9:45 p.m.
We just got locked up.
We'll take your question at the conclusion of the meeting when we're back in session. The time is 10:02, and we are reconvening into regular session. There was no necessary action from executive session. Councilmember John, did you have a question that you needed answered, or?
No. So I had a question for City Manager Mike Land, and I was going to ask if there are any public events that's going to be held from now until the runoff election, and whether that during that event the runoff candidates are going to be provided some opportunity to be able to meet the residents.
I'll let Ashley answer that question.
So, yes, there is a movie in the park on May 15th, and both runoff candidates have been invited and both have accepted. So they will both have a table at the event. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There being no further business before this council, we are adjourned at 10:03 p.m.